Today, I will tell you about a serial killer, after knowing about whom you will be shocked and many questions will arise in your mind. Or let me tell you, the first female serial killer in USA country. The name is Velma Barfield. Now, I might have known something about him, or nothing else. Don't worry, I have to explain everything. First of all, we will decide some points like life and murders, imprisonment and execution, born and death, how many victims. Velma Barfield was born in Eastover, North Carolina, but was raised near Fayetteville. Barfield's father reportedly was physically abusive, and her mother, Lillian Bullard, did not intervene. She escaped by marrying Thomas Burke in 1949. The couple had 2 children and were reportedly happy until Barfield had a hysterectomy and developed back pain. These events led to a behavioral change in Barfield and an eventual drug addiction. Burke began to drink, and Barfield's complaints turned into bitter arguments. On April 4, 1969, after Burke had passed out, Barfield and the children left the house, and when they returned, they found the structure burned and Burke dead. In 1970, Barfield married a widower, Jennings Barfield. Less than a year after their marriage, Jennings died on March 22, 1971, from heart complications. In 1974, Lillian Bullard, Barfield's mother, showed symptoms of intense diarrhea, vomiting, and nausea, only to fully recover a few days later. Later that year, during the Christmas season, Bullard fell ill again with the same symptoms, but died in the hospital a few hours after being admitted on December 30, 1974. 1975, Barfield was convicted of 7 counts of writing bad checks and sentenced to 6 months in prison. She was released after serving 3 months. Margie Velma Barfield, née Bullard, October 29, 1932, November 2, 1984, was an American serial killer who was convicted of 1 murder, but eventually confessed to 6 murders in total. Barfield was the first woman in the United States to be executed after the 1976 resumption of capital punishment, and the first since 1962. She was also the first woman to be executed by lethal injection. Barfield was imprisoned at Central Prison in Raleigh, North Carolina, in an area for escape-prone prisoners and mentally ill prisoners, as there was no designated area for women under death sentences at the time, and she was the state's only female death row inmate. A death row unit for female inmates in North Carolina was subsequently established at the North Carolina Correctional Institution for Women. Wuornos was born Aileen Carol Pittman on February 29, 1956, in Rochester, Michigan. Her mother, Diane Wuornos, born 1939, was 14 years old when she married Aileen's father, 18-year-old Leo Pittman, 1936 to 1969, on June 3, 1954. On March 14, 1955, Diane gave birth to Aileen's older brother, Keith. After less than 2 years of marriage and 2 months before Aileen was born, Diane filed for divorce. She gave birth to Aileen at the age of 16. On May 27, 1974, at age 18, Wuornos was arrested in Jefferson County, Colorado, for driving under the influence, DUI, disorderly conduct, and firing a .22 caliber pistol from a moving vehicle. She was later charged with failure to appear. On July 17th, her brother Keith died of esophageal cancer, and Wuornos received $10,000 from his life insurance. Wuornos and Fell annulled their marriage on July 21st after only 9 weeks. In August 1976, Wuornos was given a $105 fine for drunk driving. She used the money inherited from her brother to pay the fine and spent the rest within 2 months buying luxuries including a new car, which she wrecked shortly afterwards. Wuornos murdered 7 men within 12 months. All the men were motorists between the ages of 40 and 65. Richard Charles Mallory, age 51, electronics store owner in Clearwater. Date of murder November 30th, 1989. Wuornos claimed that Mallory beat, raped, and sodomized her after he drove her to an abandoned area for sexual services. David Andrew Spears, age 47, construction worker in Winter Garden. He was declared missing as of May 19th, 1990. On June 1st, 1990, his naked body was found along US 19 in Citrus County. He had been shot 6 times with a .22 pistol. Charles Edmund Cascadden, age 40, part-time rodeo worker, date of murder, May 31st, 1990. On June 6, 1990, his body was found in Pasco County. He had been shot 9 times with a .22 caliber weapon. The body had been wrapped in an electric blanket and was badly decomposing when found. Witnesses saw Wuornos in possession of Cascadden's car, and Wuornos had also pawned a gun identified as belonging to Cascadden. Peter Abraham Seams, age 65, retired merchant seaman. In June 1990, Seams left Jupiter, Florida for Arkansas. On July 4th, 1990, his car was found in Orange Springs, Florida. Moore and Wuornos were seen abandoning the car, and Wuornos' handprint was found on the interior door handle. His body was never found. Troy Eugene Burress, age 50, sausage salesman from Ocala, Florida. On July 31st, 1990, he was reported missing. On August 4th, 1990, his body was found in a wooded area along State Road 19 in Marion County. He had been shot twice. Charles Richard Dick Humphreys, age 56, retired United States Air Force major, former state child abuse investigator, and former chief of police. Date of murder, September 11th, 1990. On September 12th, 1990, his body was found in Marion County. He was fully clothed and had been shot 7 times in the head and torso. His car was found in Suwannee County. Walter Gino Antonio, age 61, trucker, security guard, and reserve police officer. On November 19, 1990, Antonio's nearly naked body was found near a remote logging road in Dixie County. He had been shot 4 times. 5 days later, his car was found in Brevard County. The Bender family, more well known as the Bloody Benders, were a family of serial killers in Labette County, Kansas, United States, from May 1871 to December 1872. The family supposedly consisted of John Bender, his wife Elvira, or Elmira, their son John Jr., and their daughter Kate. Contemporary newspaper accounts reported that the Benders' neighbors claimed John Jr. and Kate were actually husband and wife, possibly via a common-law marriage. In 1890, Elvira Hill and her daughter Mrs. Sarah Davis, both of Michigan, were charged for being Ma and Kate Bender. They proved they were not and were released. Estimates report that the Benders killed at least a dozen travelers, and perhaps as many as 20 before they were discovered. The family's fate remains unknown, with theories ranging from a lynching to an escape. Much folklore and legend surround the Benders, making it difficult to separate fact from fiction. Deaths and disappearances. In May 1871, the body of a man named Jones was discovered in Drum Creek with a cut throat and crushed skull. The owner of the Drum Creek claim was suspected, but no action was taken. In February 1872, the bodies of 2 men were found with the same injuries as Jones. By 1873, reports of missing people who had passed through the area had become so common that travelers began to avoid the trail. The area was already widely known for horse thieves and villains, and vigilance committees often arrested some for the disappearances, only for them to be later released by the authorities. Many innocent men under suspicion were also run out of the county by these committees. Killing method, it is conjectured, by whom that when a guest stayed at the Benders' bed and breakfast inn, the host would give the guest a seat of honor at the table that was positioned over a trapdoor into the cellar. With the victim's back to the curtain, Kate would distract the guest while John Bender or his son came from behind the curtain and struck the guest on the right side of the skull with a hammer. One of the women would cut the victim's throat to ensure death, and the body was then dropped through the trapdoor. Once in the cellar, the body would be stripped and later buried somewhere on the property, often in the orchard. Although some of the victims were wealthy, others carried little of value, and it was surmised that the Benders had killed them simply for the sheer thrill. Victims, May 1871. Mr. Jones. A body was found in Drum Creek with a crushed skull and throat cut. 2 to 3. February 1872. 2 unidentified men were found on the prairie, in February 1872 with crushed skulls and throats cut. 4. December 1872, Ben Brown. From Howard County, Kansas, $2,600. 2024, $66,127. Missing. Buried in the apple orchard. 5. December 1872, W.F. McCrotty. Company D, 123rd Illinois Infantry. $38, 2024, $966. And a wagon with a team of horses missing. 6. December 1872, Henry Mackenzie, relocating to Independence from Hamilton County, Indiana. $36, 2024, $916, and a matched team of horses missing. 7. December 1872, Johnny Boyle, from Howard County, Kansas. $10, 2024, $254. A pacing mare and $850, 2024, $21,618. Saddle missing. Found in the Bender's Well, 8 to 9. December 1872, George Newton Longcore and his 18-month-old daughter, Mary Ann. Contemporary newspapers reported his name as either George W. Longcore or George Launcher, while Mary Ann is similarly reported as being either 8 years old or 18 months old. If you like this video, then please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to know about which serial killer, please do tell me in the comment section.